Cool. All right, so I think one more minute and we'll get started. I feel like people have access to this since I'm going live and I'm going to archive it. So yeah, you'll have access to this later. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have all my ingredients spread out here. I don't think you guys can see everything, but the first thing we're going to do is cut up the strawberries. Now, if you're making this live, like this is going to take a minute for the strawberries to macerate, which means add in the sugar so they can get all the juice and stuff out of the strawberries and add some sweetness to it. So I went ahead and washed my strawberries prior to this, and I have I think these are organic, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. I wash my strawberries. I actually like to soak them in like a water vinegar solution, and it will just, it grosses me out every time I wash strawberries, because I'm like, I never washed them like this before. All my childhood, I've been eating filth, just filth. So these are pretty clean. I've already went ahead and cut up and macerated my strawberries just for this, but I'm going to show you, I am not the best cutter, chopper, dicer person. So what you're going to do is just cut the top off of the strawberry, and I'm using a cutting board, and I like to cut mine in 4, so I cut it in half, and then I cut them in another half, and then it should give you some even pretty decent sized quarters, because I like big chunks with my strawberry shortcake. I don't need any little bitty bites. Like, I want them to be prominent in the dessert. So this is about the size that you should have right here. So you need to cut up like 6 or 7 cups of that. Honestly, I didn't measure that part. I just did like 1 carton of strawberries and then maybe like half. And that'll give you a good idea. So just cut your strawberries up, quarter them. What I like about berry season, it lets me know that like spring is here. And spring is actually my very, very favorite time of the year, because as you guys, some of y'all know, I used to run track. I ran track for like 15 years. And so it just reminds me of my favorite season with all my favorite things going on. And berries is like a very light kind of dessert, you know, opposed to like some of the heavier things we were eating in the fall for holidays, you know. It's a nice little refreshing treat. So these are the strawberries that I've macerated. So what you want to do is take the strawberries that are cut up and add 1/4 cup of sugar to it, and then mix it with, gently just combine it with a spatula. Is this a spatula? This is not a spatula. I can't think of words, but yeah, you just want to slightly mix it, cover it, put it in the refrigerator. All right, so my strawberries are all ready to go. You can see the juice. Can you see it? My mouth is watering. I'm so excited. All right, so I'm gonna set those to the side because we're gonna use these guys later. So the fun part, so let me put my strawberries to the side, put my cutting board in the sink. All right, so the next part, let's get to the shortcake. So you need 1 big bowl, pretty large bowl. So you will need 3 cups of AP, or all-purpose flour. You're just gonna dump that in there. And no need to like sift or whisk. So dump that in there. And the next thing, you wanna put in 1/4 cup of sugar. You're going to put in 2 tablespoons. So the biggest one, a heaping tablespoon, 2 heaping tablespoons of baking powder. Just dump that right on in there. The next thing is you want to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. Just dump that in there. All right, so you can put this in a food processor to make sure that it's blended or mixed very well together, but I'm just going to use a little whisk and just keep stirring until it's very well incorporated. Like, you shouldn't see any separation of the ingredients. So just make sure you combine them very well. This is an important part of the step. So fun fact, this recipe is essentially buttermilk biscuits. So today you are learning how to make buttermilk biscuits along with a shortcake. So it's dual purposes. So you can use this. The only thing you would do is probably not put in the sugar for this recipe. So I feel like this is pretty good combined. That's what it should kind of look like. Yeah, and now that I have this, so I actually have a cutter to combine like the butter. So let me back up. The next step is taking 3/4 a cup of cube butter. I've already pre-cut this into cubes. So I'm just gonna dump that in here. Hey, I said I'm gonna dump you in here. Listen, you better cooperate. So you got your butter in there. And I got a few little guys hanging out at the top. You need to get in there with your friends. Now, the point of me saying I have that cutter, I used it before, and this is like, I want to have a feel for it. And when I'm using the cutter, I can't get a feel for the bits of the butter. So I'm just going hands in, right? So what you want to do is, as you're combining this, it's supposed to be very crumbly, and you want the butter to be about the size of a pea, right? So I can't get a feel for that. I barely can eyeball that when I'm using my cutter. So let's just get in there. And it's important for your butter to be cold. So I cubed it and I put it back in the refrigerator, just for the purpose of texture. That's why you want your butter to be extremely cold. So I'm just in here breaking it up and combining the ingredients together. Now, I will say the biscuit or shortbread, I wouldn't use a mixer because you don't want it to be like, you don't want to overwork the dough because you're going to work it a little bit, and that's going to make for a very tough biscuit or shortcake rather. So I would not recommend using a blender or a mixer. I mean, a mixer or a hand mixer at this point. Again, it's all for the texture. And the shortcake is not going to be very sweet. So if you want to add a little bit more sugar, I would say maybe add a couple of tablespoons of sugar into this mixture, so you can have a little bit sweeter of a shortcake. But keep in mind, we're layering flavor to this shortcake. So maybe you'll like it the way it is, the way we bake it. But the cool thing about baking for me is I use recipes and then I just kind of customize them and make them my own because I know how I like certain things to taste. So I am just about done with the butter. You don't want to overwork it again because you want it to feel like it's supposed to be a little rugged looking, if you will. So think about homemade biscuits, homemade shortcake. We're not thinking about Pillsbury with that perfect artificial texture. We're looking for something that your grandma used to make, okay? All right, so this is what the inside of it should look. And some of them are bigger than the size of a pea, and that's okay. Look at my hands. So, can you see that? This is how you want the texture of that to be. Now, let me rinse my hands real quick. I don't know why, because I'm going to get my hands right back dirty. Now, if you have a rolling mat, this is the time you want to grab that. Right now, you want to grab your cold cup of buttermilk and pour that right on top. Now, I have had a problem finding buttermilk in the store, and I found this. It's a cultured buttermilk blend, and they sell it at Smith's. And I use this, what I do, and it tells you how to make a cup. So I use the powdered ingredients and I mix it with water, and then I just stick it in the refrigerator. And it's, if you look at the consistency, it's just as thick as buttermilk. And I've used this for my pound cakes and stuff. Can I taste the difference? So this is clutch if you can't find buttermilk in the store. Ever since we were quarantining, it's been hard to find certain ingredients. So instead of panicking, like, you can always substitute or improvise. Another thing that you could do, this is another little life hack for you while baking. If you don't have buttermilk and you weren't able to find like the powder cultured buttermilk that I use, you can add like a teaspoon of lemon or a teaspoon of vinegar, and that will make, it'll add some culture to the actual regular milk and make it buttermilk. So just pour this in here. And I'm scraping, getting all the bits out of there. And what you want to do is just mix to combine, right? Not overdoing it. Mix to combine. All right, I feel pretty good about this mixture. And you see, I only probably stirred it up just a little bit. So this is what it looks like in here. Now I'm gonna roll out my biscuit or baking mat. You can get this from Amazon. I don't even remember where I got mine, but I use this is how I make my scones too. So it has like the little rounds on the inside, so you can measure like the radius or diameter, I don't know, I'm not good at geometry, of your dough. So from here, we're gonna take this mat. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour on there so it won't stick. And then put a little flour on my hands, because this is very hands-on, it's very involved. So we're just gonna dump this. I don't want to dump it. Okay. Now, if you choose to, at this point, try to just work it into, should be crumbly, floury mix that you're putting onto your mat. If you don't have a mat, put it on your countertop, but just make sure you flour that countertop very heavily so it won't stick. You want all the ingredients, everything out of here. Oh. Dang it, you know what? I meant to tell y'all as soon as we started to set your oven for 425. That is my bad. I was so worked up and thinking about who is gonna miss my class because I had some technical difficulties. So I'm gonna set my oven to 425 real quick. Okay. That's a high temperature, so I know it's gonna take a minute for it to preheat. I was gonna turn it on before I got on here, but again, I was distracted. Okay, now let's get into this. Hopefully, can y'all see me? So just combining the ingredients and trying not to overwork. Well, it's already coming together so nicely. So this is a nice little way, if you got some pent up aggression, take it out on the dough, but don't beat it up too much because, again, we want that tender, nice, flaky shortbread, not no tough, inedible thing. Everything's gotta be nice and delicate. So I am kind of using my little mat so I can measure the diameter. Y'all help me out. Who's good at geometry? Y'all know I ain't passed. Nah, but on the real, like, I'm trying to use it so I can kind of get the thickness. You want to have it at about a 1/2 inch. And so I'm just kind of, again, I don't want to overwork it. I just want to combine it. I still got some flakiness at the bottom. And then I kind of want these things to be thick. I want them to be thick. I made some before and they came out thin, but that's okay. You know what you do? It's your world. How about just stacking them up on top of each other? Because the goal is like when we finish it, you want to be able to cut it in half. But if not, let's stack them things right on up. And this is your dessert, and you make it how you want to make it to your liking. So I think that's good. I'm so afraid of overworking it. It looks pretty good to me. And it's about, if I had to say, this is about 7.5 inches in diameter, like a round. So I'm gonna start cutting. So I don't have a biscuit cutter, but don't judge me. I went and visited my friend, my chef friend, and left my cute little scalloped biscuit maker or biscuit cutter there. And I just cannot bring myself to use another one until I get that one back. He keeps saying, "Oh, I'm gonna send it to you." And I'm like, yeah, okay. So now I've got my shortcake all at the size and thickness that I wanted. Oh, and at this point too, if you wanted to, you can use a rolling pin. But again, I like to be hands-on so I can get a feel for the dough, because that's kind of the way I bake, just knowing, just eyeballing it. You know, I'm sure y'all have some recipes, like you probably couldn't tell me what it is, but you just know how you like it. So I don't have, like I said, I don't have a biscuit cutter, so I'm gonna use a cup. Now the trick to this is, do not twist the cup once you put it into the dough. You just want to push it straight down and pull it out. All right, so I'm going to show you. Taking a cup, pushing it straight down, and it's going to sound like a suction because we're using a cup. Ooh, you know what? This one didn't come out right because it's still not mixed up very well. Let me try that again. You know what? No, we good. We are good. No, I'm gonna try that again. This is still a little crumbly. So let me work this again. I thought I had my... Yeah, most people want to twist it because if you twist it, okay, so the point of not twisting it is that it's gonna affect the way that the biscuit or the shortbread is gonna raise. So you don't want to do that. And I'm really hoping I'm not overworking this dough, but I just don't want any flaky weirdness going on. So I'm gonna just put it right back into a round. And so what's kind of nice about this does not have to be perfect because again, we're cutting it and we're layering it with whipped cream and strawberries, so it doesn't have to necessarily be perfect. So let's do that. Okay, and again, you'll hear some suction. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. This is what you want to... Ooh. I'm so petty because the first thing I want to say is, ooh, she thick. She is thick. So I'm going to put that to the side. And so from here, you just keep making little shortcakes all the way around. And when you get to the end, I'm going to show you what to do so you won't... I'm going to show you what to do because you don't need to mix it back in and manipulate the dough too much once you get to like the end of it per se. So push down. This one's not cooperating. That's okay. Like I said, they don't have to be perfect. We just got to get them done. I made these a whole lot thicker than I made the previous ones. So just keep cutting. But if you have a biscuit cutter, I guess that could be ideal, but again, not necessary. We see how we're making it work? I don't want people to feel like or be intimidated by the fact that I bake and tools, you know, because a lot of times people don't do things because they don't feel like they have the right equipment. I did a lot of stuff before I actually started my business without having the proper tools. You know, you make it work. And right now, that's what we doing. We taking this cup and we making it work. This dough should give you about 10 to 12 shortcakes, by the way, in case you were wondering. Another good looking one. So I'm getting to the end. I don't know if you can see. So I'm just gonna put them together, like where the holes are. And again, not to overwork it, but just try to bind them together so I can make more little perfectly round shortcakes. So we're putting it together. And like every time you get to the end of it where there's not enough space to make a perfect circle or perfectly round shortcake, you just kind of push all the ingredients back together again in the middle. And what I'm doing is just pinching it so they can kind of seal. Taking that, pushing it straight down. Oh, I'm using too much force. Aggressive much. Okay. You know, maybe I should have floured this. So now I got about 5. And I'm thinking because I'm making these a little bit thicker that I probably won't come out with 10. I'm probably gonna come out with closer to like 8 shortbreads, which is fine. So again, I'm just pushing it back together gently. And then I'm gonna go right here, make another nice shortcake. All right, they are looking so good. Thank you. Thanks, Steph. I really appreciate that. Oh, the oven is preheated. Y'all hear that? So it didn't take as long as I thought. But also, I'm trying to take my time with these shortbreads so they can be perfect. I might mess around and just make one jumbo one because I've been off of carbs for like the last week or so. Maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. But when I tell you I need me some carbs, like ain't nobody business. I'm not gonna make no big jumbo one. Well, not on camera with y'all. I'm kidding. So pushing it down. Look at a flick of the wrist. And then I'm just gonna, this one's a little crumbly, so I'm just pushing it together. And again, this don't have to be perfect because they're gonna bake up really nicely. And then this last one, I'm just gonna form it together. I'm gonna take every little crumb and piece of dough on here and just add it. And again, making sure not to over manipulate the dough. And it's nice while you're manipulating the dough, you can see like some pieces of butter in there. So that's why it's important not to overwork it, like why you don't want to put it in a mixer, because you want to be able to see like those pieces mix kind of shining. It's gonna make a nice, rich, buttery shortcake. So this last one, I just kind of, gently forming it together. So it looks kind of like the rest of the guys, right? Now, I am, again, I don't know why, but I'm gonna rinse my hands again, knowing I'm gonna get them dirty again. And I'm just adding every little piece on here. I don't like wasting stuff. Now I have nobody to share this with now that I'm thinking about it. So y'all DM me. If y'all willing to come by and get this, you can have it. Because I don't need all of this in my house. I don't want to be tempted because, again, trying to do better. That's probably the hardest thing I would say about me being a baker is not overindulging, because there's just certain stuff that I like, that I make, and I know it's a trap. I know it's not I'm going to just have one type of situation, right? So now I'm going to get the cookie sheet. I'm just gonna spray this lightly with some Baker's Joy. Now, you can use a regular cookie sheet and put parchment paper on there, but I'm just going to spray this real lightly. Even though this is my tried and true baking sheet, it does not. It's from a brand called Air Bake, and it just does not stick. It's fantastic. It's my OG. So I'm gonna take these and line them up. And actually, you know what's kind of cool about making these shortcakes? They can be close. So that's why I pulled out a smaller baking sheet, because they don't have to be spread apart, because they're not gonna spread very much. You kind of want them close together. And this made a total of 8 shortcakes when you make them that thick and that size. Now I'm gonna get this little mat out the way. Just throw that in the sink real quick with the rest of the things. Now I have a little pastry brush, a silicone one, and I'm going to take some, like it says the recipe called for. Am I doing okay with the ingredients? You guys on board? And if not, I'm gonna post this on my Facebook page so you can have access to it. If I'm not saying the ingredients, I think I'm doing all right with that. But take 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream and just brush the tops of your shortbreads. So this is so relaxing to me, like this whole process. Normally I'm in my kitchen and I'm listening to music, and it just takes me to a very nice place. So all of these little steps, it just brings me a lot of joy. So I'm just brushing it on. It feels like art. It is art, but I don't know, it just does something to my spirit. So this is super cathartic for me. I'm so glad that you're here with me so you can see me in my zone. I want to do this more often with you guys too. I'm not a person that's going to hold my recipes to my soul, because they're all online. You know, everybody shares everything. That's the one thing about recipes. They have no intellectual properties, so it's not like they're copywritten. So everybody just kind of shares. And like I said, I just kind of take these recipes and I make them my own. And so this is what's gonna make it that golden color. So that's why we're brushing on some heavy whipping cream. But you can also do like egg, brush on some egg for that like shiny texture. Now from here, we are going to take some coarse sugar. If you don't have coarse sugar, you could just use regular sugar. But I got this from Sprouts. And you can see like, let me see if you can see the consistency of the grain. So you want to take that and just start sprinkling it on the top. And this is to your discretion, however you like it. You want a lot of sugar, throw a lot of sugar on there, but just put it on the top part where you brushed on the cream. This just gives it a nice little extra bite of sweetness, which is so nice. And then kind of for some plating purposes, you know, it looks good having the coarse sugar on top of there versus regular granulated sugar, because the granulated sugar is just going to bake down into it and you won't be able to see it. So I'm just doing my job, just sprinkling. Sprinkle me, baby. I like a lot of sugar, so I'm kind of low-key going in on this, because again, the shortcake's not going to be very sweet. Now, these are all ready to go inside the oven. So this is what mine look like after I've brushed on the heavy whipping cream plus the coarse sugar. So I'm gonna put this in the oven for 15 minutes. The one thing about baking, if they give you a range of time, like 15 to 18, start out with the lower time because you can always add more time. You just can't take it back. So I'm gonna turn that on, and 15 minutes. I'm gonna turn my oven light on so I can kind of keep an eye on them. So now we are going to make the whipped cream part. So I don't know if you've ever made whipped cream. So let me back up a little bit. So strawberry shortcake to me is super nostalgic because it reminds me of my mom. She used to make us strawberry shortcakes with the little round cakes with the little cutout in the middle that you get from the grocery store. And she would get Cool Whip and strawberries. And like, to me, that was like the best thing on earth. Like, I knew it was a good day or a special occasion when my mom would make up some quick little strawberry shortcake. So shout out to Elaine. I love you. Hope you're watching. If you're not, I'm going to save one of these for you. So I never really had made whipped cream before. And fun fact, I had never really tried it. I'm trying to clean up a little bit. Whipped cream until I got a lot older because I was so used to Cool Whip because that's what my grandma used. That's what my mother used. So I was like, what is this lovely, light, divine substance here? Like, all I know is Cool Whip. And y'all just put me on to game. But anyway, if you like whipped cream, you are going to love making your own because it's 1,000 times better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here where the mixer is, and I'm going to use the whisk attachment for my mixer. Now you can use a hand mixer too, because it's going to take you about 3 minutes to beat it. Beat it. Yeah, I'm so corny. So you're going to take a cup, and don't judge me because I know this is a dry substance cup, but I'm taking this 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And I'm just going to put that right inside of the mixing bowl. And I'm going to take my scraper so I can get every little bit out of this because I was supposed to be using the liquid measurement cup, but it was occupied with buttermilk. So what do you want me to do? So we're doing this right here. All right, so we got that in there. This is actually 2 tablespoons of sugar. So you just want to put regular granulated sugar in there. That is only for if you want it to be very lightly sweetened. I might go back in there and put another tablespoon in there because I just kind of want a little bit more sweetness. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Pure vanilla extract is best to use. So you dump that in there. Now this is the part where it might get a little loud, so I apologize. I'm just gonna, you wanna turn on your mixer medium high or use your hand mixer, but you gotta blend for like 3 minutes, okay? And today I brought out my clear mixing bowl so y'all can see the magic happening back here. I'm gonna start it off slow. Alexa, set a timer for 3 minutes.
3 minutes, starting now.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab a plate so we can start plating everything so you can see what it looks like. TV magic. I've got some shortcakes here. Now these are not as thick. I made them a little thinner, so what I'm probably going to end up doing, this is what they look like, my shortcakes. Nice and brown at the bottom, and they're so soft. Obviously, this was my jumbo one in this one, but y'all see I tore that up. It's so good. I think next time I'm going to add a little bit more sugar because I want some more sweetness. I want it to be light and fluffy, but I do want some sweetness. So I'm going to grab a plate so we can start building this once our whipped cream is done. So are you guys excited about this? Is this your first time making this? I'm having a good time here. I wish that I could have some more interaction with y'all. I know it's like I'm trying to find some balance between that. So I'm gonna cut one in half and see how that one does. And if I don't like it, then I'm gonna just cut another one or layer them on top of one another. If you see back here, I don't know if you can see very well, but it's starting to get thick. We like them thick. I'm looking for a knife. Oh, let's see how we do cutting this in half. So I'm so excited. I'm like legitimately salivating right now. Oh, thanks, Mackenzie. Oh, yay. I'm happy she's excited. Y'all gonna have a good dessert tonight too, Maggie. Okay, so I just cut one in half. Again, I'm not the best cutter, but it actually turned out pretty nice. But I am going to indulge today. This might be the only thing I eat. I'm just gonna dust the crumbs off of here. For plating purposes, of course. And you know what you can also do? You can turn this into a trifle. Like say if you don't like the way that your shortbreads turned out, or shortcakes, I'm sorry, your shortcakes, you can just break them up into pieces and just layer it. So like in a bowl or a cup, and you can go the shortcake, some whipped cream, strawberries, and keep layering it, okay? So Alexa said we all done. So thank you, girl. I said thank you, Alexa. Off. Alexa, turn off. The disrespect, like she pay bills in here. All right. Oh no. That was not an accurate time. It overmixed. That is sad. Yeah, let's do this again. Okay, so next time, eyeball it. Don't even trip. We got this, y'all. I'm not even mad. We just gonna start over. And luckily I have enough ingredients to do that again. So I am going to eyeball this a little bit better instead of talking to y'all so much. I was just really excited. Yeah, it just overmixed, which is no big deal. So I am gonna use my little bowl again. And I'm gonna take off my whisk attachment and rinse that off. Yeah, I should have been keeping a better eye on that, but it's okay, y'all. It's not a big deal. Shit happens. Life is real. And I'm not Rachel Ray. I'm Essence J. And y'all know I'm clumsy and non-graceful, so don't trip. We got this. We just gonna start right on over. I think I saw it when it started getting thick. When I was like, she thick, that's when I probably should have taken it off. So we just overmixed it a little bit. Okay. See how the shortcakes are doing? Oh yeah, they're baking up really nicely. Okay, so. Okay. So we're gonna get a cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm going to wash out my liquid cup real quick because I prefer to use that. How's everybody's doing? Like, how's y'all whipped cream coming out? If y'all are baking along with me. Dry this out real quick. All right, cup of heavy whipping cream. Backwards. Let me put the bowl back on. And then let this out really good. Okay. There we go. So I'm gonna pour that in there. And again, where's my little scraper? My spatula. Heavy whipping cream is so thick, so you want to get all of it out of there. I hate that I got my back turned to you guys. Can you see it? And then 2 tablespoons. You know what? I'm going to put it 2 1/2 because I want mine to be a little sweet. So, do that. And then maybe I'm going to turn the speed down just a bit. And then vanilla. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon. Alrighty, so we're gonna whip that up. And in the meantime, I've already split one of the shortcakes. And you see how like shiny that not buttermilk, but the heavy whipping cream made it. And then it's got the sugar sprinkles on there. I'm gonna go mind my business over here by this bowl so I won't mess it up. Yay! Best whipped cream ever. Awesome. Did you use a hand mixer, Maggie, or did you use a stand mixer? Thank you, sis. My sister is over there giving me some encouragement. So thank you. So I'm going to move these out the way because can I just say, like, once y'all shortcakes come out the oven, like, oh, you can have this for breakfast too. So good. I'm gonna get these out the way. Let me check it. Okay, it's still not the consistency I want. So I'm gonna let it keep going. Y'all, this. So it's like 38 seconds left for the shortcakes. Ready for it? Still not the consistency I want, so I'm gonna let it keep going. I'm gonna turn it up. Time to get the shortcakes out. I'm gonna turn my oven off too because it's getting a little hot in here. See, now it's starting to get to the texture. It's starting to fluff up. You can see it. So I think that I needed to turn the speed up to medium high and not just medium. So keep that in mind too. All right, so this is what we're looking for. This is the consistency right here. See? That's exactly what we want. Ooh. Oh my God. This is so good. As if I've never made this before, but oh my God, this is so good. This is exactly what you want. So like I said, I liked mine a little bit sweeter on the recipe. It called for 2 tablespoons. I put 2.5, and this is perfect for me. This is to my liking. So now let's build this thing. Let's build this shortcake up, please. I used 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. I put 2.5 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And if for you guys that are just tuning in a little bit later, thank you for chiming in. I am going to put the recipe on my actual page so you guys can revisit it too. So, all right, so here's our whipped cream. Oh my God, this is so good. I'm just gonna get another little spatula so I can scrape all this goodness off of the whisk. Now you can completely do this by hand. This was just a little bit easier for me so I can still be active in looking at the shortcakes and also talking to you all. Wow, this is just very, very magical. And you see how like simple that was? You can do this anytime. And what's good about this recipe, you can make it ahead of time too. I'm gonna just have another little. So good. You can make this ahead of time because the shortcakes are gonna hold up. You can make this up to like 2-3 days in advance, and they're absolutely gonna hold up. The whipped cream, as long as you store it in like an airtight container inside the refrigerator, it should be fine. It shouldn't lose too much volume, but I wouldn't make this that far in advance, maybe like a day. And then the strawberries, the longer that they set, the more like juicy they're going to get. And I'm actually, you know what? Let's do something today. We're gonna do something special. I am over here cutting another shortcake because I don't want to layer it. I'm going to layer it is what I'm trying to say. And I don't want all the crumbs on the plate. So this is what we're going to do. I am going to take my, I need a spoon for the strawberries. Going to take some whipped cream. Can you guys see it? And just put it a dollop right on top of one of the shortcakes, the flat layer. And then I'm going to take some strawberries. Oh, and they got so juicy. Look at that. Take a couple of these and just layer it. And then I want those strawberries to be very like seen. So I'm going to layer it, put a little bit more whipped cream on there. And then I'm gonna take another flat layer and put that on top of there. Whipped cream. And again, this is however you want to build it. This is me building it because I'm overindulging today. Looks like I might have to actually go for a run because of all this goodness I'm putting together. And then we're gonna put, oh, and then the strawberry juice is like kind of dripping on top of the shortcake. Oh my goodness, look at that. So nice. Like, I just felt myself like salivating. I need to get that under control. And, ooh, I did not mean to put that in there. And then we're just gonna throw another dollop of whipped cream on there. Stack it. And I'm actually not gonna use this layer, so I'm gonna put it back over here. And when the strawberries are so nice and sweet too, put a little juice on there. That ain't never hurt nobody. It hasn't. It's never hurt anyone. Okay. And it's leaning over. That's okay. Strawberry shortcake, ladies and gentlemen. Now, each component I love separately, but let's get a real bite of this thing, okay? Let's see what it's talking about when it's all assembled in all its glory. I don't even know how to attack it. This is so good. You guys mind if I eat just a little bit? Okay. It's so good. And that was the best idea of layering it with 3 shortcake layers. It's like a Big Mac of strawberry shortcake. That's fantastic. Okay, guys. I'm gonna open up to some Q&A. If you guys have any questions for me, I'm gonna eat because I'm one of those people. I eat my dessert, so I planned on it all week, so that's why I'm doing it. So I'm gonna put these strawberries away. But any questions? Yeah, girl, it's like a Big Mac. Strawberry shortcake Big Mac. It's so good. And as you can see, it was a few steps involved, but it's not a hard dessert to make overall. The shortcake came out like very light and tender, exactly how I imagined. Strawberries are nice and sweet and juicy. Thank you. I'm glad you had a good time. Thank you so much. I don't think I can eat this whole thing. Ain't no harm in trying, though. Okay, well, it doesn't look like you girls and guys have very many questions at this point. So I'm gonna just shut it down. I'm gonna finish eating my strawberry shortcake. But thank you so much. If you guys want to do this again, please like, subscribe, do all the things you need to do so you can stay in touch with Sweet Jewel. Because I enjoy baking for you. I enjoy baking with you. And let me know some things that you want to see being made, because I would love to do that with you. But for now, thank you so much. Tuning in with me means everything, so I appreciate that. And you guys have a wonderful Sunday.